best lawyer in the city.
Yeah. Well, I try.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you helping the boys.
Anytime. You take care.
I'll see you later. Yep.
Right.
I'm not in the business.
Hey, what's going on, McNaulty?
I'm in the business of making
Another day in paradise, brother. You know what it is.
So, the reason I kind of jumped on you about the high command question is, from my perspective, right? I may become mayor, and as a side effect, I got to pick a chief. Now, I don't know what my what the timeline's gonna look like. For all I know, I may need to pick a day one. Hopefully, I can at least have some time to fucking observe a little closer before making such a important decision.
Of course.
At the end of the day.
But in defense of that, you can't just leave the LSPD without high command high and dry while you figure this shit
but
out.
I mean, high command exists right now, right? It's not like they disappear after the election.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So hopefully they're not just giving up. That's not happening, is it?
No.
Oh my God! Wait, are they?
No.
Why'd you start
No,
choking?
I laughed because my understanding is like once that mayor starts, it's like boom, you got to pick a chief, right?
Yeah, I don't. Are
you winning or what?
There hasn't been like anything. I haven't received any information indicating that I'd have to pick it right then and there.
Another avoid. That's just how I assumed it.
No. I'm going to petition against that. Like, I want to give it some time because there's no way for me to know what the fuck's happening in the PD, right? I can only see from the outside and from communicating, like, individually.
Okay. Well,
right? And then from the individual conversation, sort of assessing, like, who's, what the truth is. It's kind of like, like, you hear, like, shit happens around the world, and, like, you have one paper saying one thing and another. It's kind of like, it's like a similar game, right? You got to, like, compare notes.
Oh, yeah, no. Communication in the city is absolute fucking dog shit, and it'll never be good.
Yeah. So, look, you're on my short list. You clearly have leadership skills. You can communicate. And I think those are two of the most vital things that is necessary. But in the same vein that I asked, the reason I'm doing my homework up front is I need at least a short list. And then from there, like, I can, observe a little bit closer. Once mayor, maybe I can, I don't know, hop in a fucking car and see how shit actually is.
Right.
Look, LSPD is going to be my legacy, right? I have no intent to run it like Max did. I think that kind of fucked things up quite a bit. I get it. He brought morale, but he also did a lot of I don't like what he did to you guys, quite frankly. I got nothing good to say about it. I want y'all to be the masters of your own destiny and mostly operate out of policy set by the mayor's office. And policy is, here are the desires, and then how you go about it is in your realm, right? My administration isn't going to be cops. We're not going to know, the details of, like, who's going to be best captain and, like, how your ranking structure should be or anything like that. But to give you a little bit of insight as to one thing I really want to see is I want y'all to be a lot more community facing. And I don't mean that you roll up to a gangbanger and, like, start sucking his dick or anything like that. But I do mean, I want the, I want there to be a little bit more communication between parties, and this massive void that's been created between the PD and the people to kind of close. I don't have the answer for exactly how we get there, but I think that is a top priority of mine. I think the
Okay.
events of July 3rd, right? I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I don't think most of that blame falls on the police department. But you know, I don't want to see that kind of thing happen again. You know what I mean?
I would say none of my officers are to blame for a bunch of criminals to seize MRPD and shoot them up.
How familiar are you with the events that led up to that?
I wasn't around that day.
I got you. It's about a 3-week escapade, I would say, with a culmination that never should have transpired. Quite frankly,
Agreed.
I think attacking Mission Row PD is insane.
Yep.
McNaulty,
Anytime someone tries to use violence to push a political mean, they lose all credibility.
yeah, I agree with that. I think there's I'm pretty 50-50 on storming the Capitol, so to speak. I think public unrest is healthy. I think once that turns into violence, there's a problem.
Agreed.
Now, in regards to policy, I want to kind of give you a idea of what I mean by that.
Okay. Take away.
I'm going to use Officer Bell as an example because she's got a very clean record. So this is, I don't think, at least as far as I'm aware, this can be related to anything that she's done. But let's say she were to like crash out on Tessa Lamb, right? And she discharged a firearm on Tessa. Tessa's got no gun. By all accounts, it was over aggression. I want to do away with this, investigate the situation for 2 weeks bullshit. I want the police department to be able to resolve these matters in 48 hours or less. Ideally, the same day. If that situation were to happen, press
All right.
conference.
You mean like if a officer hypothetically escalates a scene like that, you would want the PD to address it within 48 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
Ideally, the same day. And that punishment to be given swiftly. The reason I bring this particular example up is this isn't like the number one policy. This is more to give you an idea of what policy would look like, right? I don't want officers. I don't want to see what sounds to me like high school drama being used to, drag that officer through the mud, right? I don't think when these sort of things happen that there's really much to look at. And I think by addressing these matters swiftly and transparently, it makes the potential victim happy, right? It gives them what they want. It allows the punished officer to move on with their life, and it avoids a lot of unnecessary drama, right?
So basically like a 48-hour communication and punishment policy.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Now,
Personally, in the way that I've always, whenever I've fucked up and I know I've broken SOPs, just go straight to my commanding operator and say, yeah, I did that shit at me, and I'll move on. That's how everybody should approach it. Most of the officers that I've had in my shift anyway, brought up, have had that mentality. One of the biggest things I look for.
That's good. I also don't think punishments ever need to exceed that of what others in the city deal with, right? If someone's going away after like 3-month investigation for like a couple days, I think there needs to be an equal reflection, right? I don't think I don't think anyone's like irredeemable unless they completely prevent y'all from being able to function. But I'd like to normalize these punishments. Am I making sense what I mean by normalize? I don't want to see you guys get beaten down, but not make it a big fucking deal.
Well, you're saying not making a big deal, but making a big public announcement about it, being like, yeah, we are punishing this officer for doing that, is making a big deal out of it.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that.
I understand what you mean, where it's like if a citizen sees an officer fuck up and never hears anything about a punishment, they're going to presume that nothing happened to that officer.
Correct.
I understand where it's coming from, but I'm always trying to deal with shit in house, right?
I'm going to have a very opposite policy to that. And
understandable considering you pitched it.
Yeah. No, of course. I understand things have been a certain way for a while. I don't see, just as a criminal, they do something out of line. The name is plastered on the newspaper, is sent to prison. I don't see there being anything wrong for a member of the public. I mean, like, you go to New York, right? You have a cop that crashes out, they get suspended. That's all over the papers. Press release comes out. I understand from a perspective, it's going to hurt initially, right? It's going to be, that officer might feel a certain way, but I think that sends a very strong message, not to the community, that the PD is standing up for what is right. But over time, that normalization isn't going to feel as painful. Mm-hmm. And I think,
look, I'm all for trying new things. If it's for the betterment of the LSPD, that is something that I'll always try.
Yeah.
But if I see it backfiring, I'll see it removed.
Yeah, I think I'd stand by that as long as there was ample effort put behind it, right?
Like I'm saying, like I will always try something new if it's for the betterment of the PD as a whole, not just the LSPD, just everybody in general.
Okay.
I'd be a hypocrite if I looked you down the eye and said, no, don't do that. Because who's to say it won't help the PD, you know?
And this is sort of where the important factor comes into play, McNulty. I think the chief is going to have a duty to the public, right? There will be the responsibility of looking over the police department, but in the grandest scheme of things, you're looking after the city. And I don't mean the fucking locals, right? And
I hope not. Shit about them.
Right. And
well, I'll give it to you straight, right? If I'm on the short list, Nino, I'm not a meeting officer. Yes, I'm a lieutenant, but that is because I'm a very proactive policeman. I do not. I keep things short, and all I do is patrol. That is my life. I go out there, I hit the streets, I make sure the morale of my officers and the people that I care about, which is the people of the city, is high. I am not about to sit. I'm not about to lay out a big grand fucking plan for you, Nino, about how I'm gonna make the PD better, because that's not who I am. I get out there, I make sure my officers are happy, I make sure the people that I are sworn to protect are happy, and that's it. That is what I do. That's what I will continue to do, and that's all you get out of me.
Okay. So let me ask you a straight question, because this is exactly what I was thinking. I don't think you're someone that's ever going to want to sit at a desk.
No, correct.
Okay. And so my question is, what happens when the policy I just described to you comes down from the chief? Are you going to execute that? Going, that's what the orders are?
Like I said, If the chief above me is like, look, this is how I want to try this out. It's coming up for the mayor. We're gonna try it out and see how it works.
Okay.
I'm like I said, I'm all for trying things if it's for the betterment of the PD, and that's it. If the chief believes that
What about
this
the
is
public?
something that included, if that opens up a line of communication and helps the relationship between those two things, then I am never gonna say no to it if I think it's a good idea. I do think it's a good idea, but I can see it backfiring.
Backfiring in which way?
Because people will weaponize shit like that.
Who's gonna weaponize it? Like criminals?
Criminals. But if I let myself be afraid of criminals weaponizing something, then chances are I'd never get my job done.
Yeah.
So
Everything
like I
is
said,
gonna be weaponized against you.
Yep, of course.
Everything
Yeah,
does.
I know. I know, brother.
It's one of those things that it don't matter that it's not unique to the police department.
So, like I said, if I get that from the chief and he's like, yo, brother, this is how I want things to do, I'll be like, all right, let's see how this goes. And I'll enact it.
Where do you see yourself in the department?
As in, what do I see myself as?
Yeah. Where do you think you accelerate the most?
Morale, leadership, personality.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like me, and that's not me blowing smoke up my own ass.
A lot of people like you?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that. I like you, McNaulty. And what I like is that you're not sitting here saying that you're willing to sit at a desk just because you think that's what I want to hear.
No.
Because that is fucking rare, and Jesus fucking Christ, it pisses me off when people can't be straight. You can't get anything done. You know what I mean?
Nope. I am a patrol cop.
Okay.
Through and through. Tried to be a detective at the very start of my skeleton crew back day one. Trying looking into shit, but I realized that's not what the shift needs. It needs people responding. It needs people helping, and I've kept that mentality since. But I do believe that if somebody I care a lot said that they believe a chief should, they do have to sit in meetings and they do have to listen to people, but those are the parameters created by somebody else. They're not mine. You can lead. You don't have to. I don't believe a leader should sit behind a desk because that's not leadership. That's a secretary.
About how does the president operate? How do generals operate?
I was gonna make a bad joke.
Yeah, but that's not realistic, right?
Yeah, I get that, but that is how I view it. When I see the chief, I want them out there getting their fucking job done. I want to know that when I'm out there pushing and doing my job, they're shoulder to shoulder with me getting shit done. And I know it's unrealistic of me to say that the chief won't ever be pulled into meetings, because they will.
Yeah.
But it's about keeping shit short and to the point. I don't yap. I don't waffle.
Okay. Who do you think would make for a good chief, in your opinion?
Ruby York.
Who else? Like top
to
three.
me, that's it. Top three.
Really? Yeah.
I genuinely, I've worked alongside Ruby York, and I don't think I know anybody that. I'm a bit more of a patrol cop than she is, but she does two things extremely well: administrative and patrol. She does both of those very well, and I've known her to be very, at least, clear and concise with myself. This is what I told Max at the very start. Should have been Ruby York. And don't get me wrong, I like Barrick, but I've seen the amount of work Ruby York has put in, and she's who I think should be the chief of police.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Is no one else in the LSPD? Is Ruby the only one?
The only one that I can see.
Okay.
I think Vivian Gray would also make a good chief of police. But I don't work alongside her all the time.
I see. Dakota?
Nakota.
Be honest.
I do think maybe this is just my conversations with Nakota, but I think he fluffs a little bit too much. I feel like
Can-
Nakota and
I
Barrick
want, can
are.
you? I want you to expand on all of these names because I'm taking
Okay,
your
Vivian
opinion
Gray,
here very
Vivian Gray is
seriously,
a
but I
very
need
blunt.
to. Yeah.
Vivian Gray, whenever I've spoken with her, I'm just going off my conversations
Yeah,
and
yeah,
working
of course.
alongside it. Vivian Gray,
Just wait. Let me just pause you there real quick. The reason I'm asking for, I want as much depth as you can because I'm comparing notes, right? Remember, I
Yeah,
don't
of course.
see what's happening in the PD.
way that I've seen Shift 1 operate, I think Vivian Gray is a very blunt. She's very strict. You know, she's strict, but she does offer flexibility as long as you're honest with her, right? Great patrol cop. I've enjoyed working with her anytime. Great personality, funny woman. I think she'd make a great chief. Dakota, I think, is a little too fluffy. I think he makes a good sergeant, but I don't know if he's ready to lead an entire department. Maybe that's just me. Great detective. Probably one of to the point detectives I've really worked alongside of. Let me think who else. I mean, one name comes to mind, but if he found out I said it to you, he'd fucking come his pants.
Well, no, I need to hear this.
One of my seniors, Decker.
Okay. Yep. He'd cum his pants
Yeah.
because for what reason?
He is a very, very passionate officer. He's also a no-nonsense officer. Great sense
Yeah.
of humor. He rides with me all the time. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. His report writing is fantastic. Any kind of search warrants, anything like that, writing's fantastic. He rewrites SOPs. He's a cop. He's a fantastic fucking cop. And his scene leading is perfect. Even if he sounds like a fucking dork.
I am familiar with him. He's one of the few cops that I've been in the cells with that could actually articulate what the fuck was happening with the scene. So I can see where you're coming with that. One of the biggest challenges I've seen. Oh, sorry, continue.
No, I was just about to say I don't think I can think of anybody else.
Okay. Can you expand on Ruby?
I mean, I've said all I need to say. I like.
Well, you said like administrative work. I don't know what that means.
As in just like articulating reports as well as being able to lay out descriptive shit to people who need to understand it, right? And when I say that, I mean like writing SOPs and shit like that, getting the administrative side of leading and policing done. You know? In terms of patrol, she's always out there. She puts 911s pretty much above most shit. And if there's nothing going on 911 wise, responding to dispatch calls, getting it done, helping lead. I don't think I've ever seen her turn down listening to any officer that needs to hear it out.
Okay.
I think she's perfect for the role. I always thought she has been.
And why not Barrick?
It's very, actually, you know what? It's not complicated. I don't know Barrick. I don't know him very well.
So it's more of a
And a few
observation
times-
from.
Yeah, and the few times I think I've seen him lead, I've been underwhelmed.
Okay. Okay.
I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. That's just how I feel.
No, and that's perfectly fine. So, let me understand because you're one of the first that kind of, if I'm understanding you correctly, believes that a chief of police should be in the field. What percentage of time?
80-20.
Okay.
You're trying to look me in the eye and tell me that the PD needs to get a better image and the chief of police needs to be the voice between the LSPD and the community, correct?
Yes.
How the fuck is it supposed to do that behind a desk? How is it supposed to go out there and say this officer did that, and the people that it's representing is like, I don't fucking know this person.
Delegation.
I don't see them. I don't see them out on the. No.
Yeah.
Delegation, yes, but that chief needs to be out there doing their fucking job. That chief needs to be out there representing the LSPD and not just sitting in fucking MRPD talking, and actually going out there and doing their fucking job and actually showing to people that that this person gives a shit. I am responding to the 911s.
I don't resonate with
going
this.
to these people being kidnapped, and I'm fucking helping.
How
It
do you-
is easy to delegate, but it's hard to care.
How do you do that across 3 shifts?
Blood, sweat, shit, and cum.
So did they wake up at every shift?
I'd say they at least try and make their best presence. Obviously, that's going to be very hard, but I think to back that up, an ass chief needs to help them with that sort of shit. Because they can't be there every day.
But now
I
you've
get that.
delegated.
Yeah, I understand that. But those two are working in unison to show the same presence as they should. That's the assistant chief. They are that presence when that person's not around. And they can give that presence in other shifts.
So, my understanding is that there are currently 3 lieutenants.
Correct, one in each shift.
One in each shift. Are they, and this is more me trying to understand how things work. Today, are the lieutenants not able to execute on the vision of the chief of police and the assistant chief?
Okay, I'm going to be biased on this point because Ruby works in my shift.
Yeah.
And her and I work close hand in hand on this shift. And I'm the lieutenant shift 2. And my execution on shift 2 will always just be quality and morale. And I put morale over anything else.
Okay.
I'm not going to have cops out there dragging their fucking feet, unhappy to be here.
Okay. This is good. Now I asked a lot of questions. Do you have any for me?
One off the rip.
Yeah.
I heard that you are potentially bringing in Kyle Soze.
Kyle
As some-
Soze? Like, is that
as-
2 people or?
Sorry,
Kyle and
Soze. Sorry, just
Soze.
Soze. Not Kyle. No, not Kyle Price. Just Soze.
Okay.
As some form of leader in the LSPD or in the Marshals. Is that true?
I don't make that decision. The marshals do.
Okay. What about the LSPD?
Am I bringing Soze into the marshals?
No, into the LSPD.
No.
What about oversight of the LSPD?
No.
Is he potentially being looked at by the Marshals?
I'm unsure.
Yeah. Put that at face value.
Yeah. That's
there's a rising
telephone
problem.
gets
Yes,
is interesting.
that's why I'm going straight to you.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you
Jesus
flat
fucking-
out.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did because Jesus fucking Christ.
Because no offense, if that was true,
Yeah.
and I have to wake up to someone who shot at officers
Yeah.
and has was it treason on their record? Yeah, they can get that expunged, but I have to look this person in the eye and they shot cops willingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why.
How do you
straight to
handle pulling over Mr. K?
Okay. Oh. What?
Well, because
What a strange. Why do you ask that?
he's like a terrorist and he's got like 50 attempted
Crazy
murder.
little guy.
Yeah.
How do I? Well, it depends. I need more context.
Well, I mean, you pull him
That's
over,
it.
right? And you
I pull-
gotta.
is it his
you gotta
car?
talk to him. Yeah, it's his
Talk to him
vehicle.
like I talk to him like a human being.
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly how it'll go. Okay, what if I clocked him at? Let's say 45, third-degree speeding.
Sure.
I'll pull him over. I'll say, hell yeah, Lieutenant McNulty at SPD. He goes, hell yeah, now Dublin 12. He'll say Dublin 12 about 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'll just chat with him like a human being.
Okay.
Yes, he's a batshit crazy person who hates the government, pretty much wants to kill everyone. But I will approach it with hesitancy, but I'll still treat him like a human being. And
Okay.
I'll just chat with him, see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I'll check when was his last traffic infraction within 2 weeks. If he's gotten one, then I'll ticket him and send him on his way.
And that's why I asked that question, because I wanted to make sure you weren't going to say that, you know, you're going to just assume he's doing some shit. How
it's a
you
traffic stop.
handling Pred then in the marshals and the oversight ability he's going to have?
Look, I think Pred respects my bluntness. He spoke to me today. He was like, I like you, McNulty. You're straight and to the point.
Yeah.
I think you and I are going to see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I don't know how to take that because I don't know if I particularly trust Pred.
But why Pred and not Soze?
Why? Wait, what? Why hire Pred over Soze?
No. Why the Fred's a ex-terrorist.
Yes.
Right? Soze shot cops.
But this is terrorism from what, a very, very long time ago?
Okay. I see. I'm trying to pick your brain here. I'm trying to get a sense of trying to pick your brain, trying to
hold on,
understand this
that's
better.
terrorism from what, 5 bajillion years ago?
Okay. I get what you're saying. Saying
Soze I'm not holding that
Soze's
against
situation
him.
is recent.
Yes, I'm not holding that against him because, you know, people are allowed to change, but that wound is still very, very new. Look, I think Pred is a bit of a cunt, but if Angel has trusted him, I'm going to allow that, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess chance to prove me wrong. I think he's a cunt and up his own ass. And I think if you give him an inch of power, he's going to abuse the shit out of it. But he's been given that chance. And if he's there to better the city, then okay.
And what about if Soze becomes a marshal?
Then I'll probably go to Angel and ask her what kind of drug she's on.
Unless I'm mistaken, what do you think Soze did? Honestly.
So
and trust me,
if there's something
to be clear, I think he's a little loopy too.
If there's something that I find a bit odd about that whole thing is scribbling a whole bunch of shit on the wall. I guess you could argue freedom of speech quite easily, one thing. But grabbing a class 2 and gunning down a bunch of officers. The treason I felt was a bit shaky, but killing a bunch of officers, not so much.
I got you.
I don't think scribbling on a wall is enough to condemn someone for treason, but you gun down officers, and that's not something I will forget.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to pick my brain on? I'm sure you're wondering. Come on, you must think I got more thoughts on the PD in general.
Yeah, I will say one thing I'm sort of noticing, this is just from my own observations very quickly, is with the marshals coming in, it's souring the, oh, actually, yeah, here's a good question. How would you stop department beef? You as a mayor are hearing that the 3 major departments, the police in the city, are just bickering and bitching.
Could you give me a better example? Because if I just hear they're bitching, I mean, it's not really actionable, you know?
Okay, let's say 2 departments who have been working hard for a long fucking time, trying to improve themselves and get the equipment that they need. This shiny new apartment shows up and is kitted the fuck out.
Brother, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. I want you to put yourself in my shoes for a moment, right? Because I do think, understandably, I think there's probably a lot of cops in the LSPD who are wondering if they're going to have a job in a week, right? I can promise you this much, that I'm not looking to dismantle the thing. At the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, y'all will be my legacy, right?
Well, no offense.
And
I wouldn't let
will
you
be,
fire anyone, brother.
Well, that's great, but okay. It's kind of beyond the point, McNaulty. The point is that y'all motherfuckers are going to be my fucking legacy. I can't let you fail.
Well, I've been here since Skeleton Crew day one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, my blood, sweat, shit, and cum is
whether
in this
you
fucking department.
expect I can fire you or not is beyond the fucking point, McNulty. I'm not coming here to fire you or someone else. That is a kind of stupid statement. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, that chief of police, that decision is going to have a lot of fucking weight on the future of Los Santos.
Agreed. One thing I did want to ask, because I think I can understand how a lot of this works. Have you had a meeting with a lot of the organized groups of the city?
A lot of people are willing to speak to me. Yeah.
Okay, and
I got
what
quite
are
a
they
bit
asking?
of backing.
In regard that like can directly affect us.
I don't think they're really asking too much of the police department. I think,
Like what, though?
well, I think the biggest cause of tension is mostly comes down to legislation. And the feeling that charges are being pressed without merit. And I think there's quite a bit of there's a lot of truth to that. Evidence being the amount of court cases that are being lost. In other words, when things are challenged, the police department's having a very tough time articulating. You know, I dealt with 2 days ago. This guy robbed the laundromat. Actually, it wasn't even 2 days ago. It was yesterday. And 2 detectives are a part of the prosecution. I went there last second, and all the charges were dropped. Now, I want you to, for a second, consider the fact that the entire case was effectively based on, we think you did this. Now, while from the perspective of the cops, yeah, they know full well that this guy probably had intentions. But if they can't prove it, right? And they can't, you know, really justify the charges.
Yeah, crazy.
You get in this, you know, the reflection on the civilian side, right, becomes, why am I getting overcharged? They can't prove this. And I feel like that's kind of the lack of dialogue that's taking place with the PD and the citizenry. So, like, for example, I ask, why is this happening? I think it is the duty of the police department to explain the why. And when an explanation is not something that can be given, there is going to be a feeling of injustice.
Well, I won't argue with that. One thing I've always preached to officers is push what you can prove. That's it.
Yeah.
If I ever hear officers going, I'm not sure if this sticks, then I'm like, okay, it's a lawyer's job to push reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
And if you're already down on the charge before you push it, then don't push it.
Now,
push what you can. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real tough one. I think
I've only lost one case, and it was because of a bullshit viewing from a judge on fucking case laws. I wanted to punch him in the teeth.
I mean, these corner cases are the ones that are reasonable, right? Los Santos is not New York. It's not Boston, right? There's no, the reality of the matter is that we don't have judges on hand. And at least in terms of my personal desire, this goes beyond outside the mayorship, is I think a lot of these things can be resolved in the cells. And
Agreed. As long as officers just being fair.
And that's exactly it.
I realize you're, just sending people away for an X amount of time, I realize they're criminals and killers, but still a person.
They are still a person. And you got to remember that you guys are cops. And the only thing that, look, I can resonate with the fact that you're dealing with a lot of scumbags. This is Los Santos. It's pretty much modern day Iraq. But that shield represents justice. Right? And justice is backed up by legislation and law. And the moment any action is taking place that goes beyond that, it's not policing anymore, is it? And regardless of who that person is, right, on the other end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, look, Nino. Fact of the matter is, I just want you to look me in the eye if you want any of this really, and promise me that all you're gonna do is for the betterment of this fucking city. Any politician can really ask the same kind of shit and bark the same song.
Yeah.
But as long as someone's goal is the betterment of the PD, the betterment of the people, the betterment of the city, then nothing else really matters.
I wouldn't be doing this if I had any other reason to.
And if there's one thing I detest and I think it's disgusting, it's corruption. And if this city has taught me anything, considering I just arrested a lawyer, and I've arrested a lot of lawyers before, and I've had cops one day out of fucking PD shooting cops a week fucking later, is everybody susceptible to it.
Well, seeing what happened at DeMarco, you're not wrong.
So, there better not be any fucking poison in your veins, Nino. It's easy for us to stand here and have a conversation, brother.
McNaulty. Everyone's got a little bit of poison in them.
Yep.
I think the bigger question here, McNaulty, which I think more people need to ask themselves, is who the fuck else? You want Bozo the clown that's wants to suck Mickey Mouse's dick? Leading the charge. At the end of the day, this is a more complicated, actually a pretty straightforward answer to it all.
We've all got skeletons, brother. Just
yeah. Oh, I got skeletons. I used to sell fucking class 2s right behind your police department a long time ago. 15 years back.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
That'll be the last thing I see, Nino, all right?
Yeah. All right. I appreciate your time, McNulty. And I appreciate the candidness.
That's all you'll get out of me.
Yeah.
No point being around the bush. I got shit to do.
Yeah. I'm with you.
You need a lift there, or you good?
Oh, no, I'm good. I got my bike around the corner.
All right, you stay safe, brother. Okay,
right.
Stay out of trouble.
You take care. See why he likes Ruby.